Here are a few of the most amazing modern marvels. Number 9. The National Stadium in Beijing, also known as the Bird's Nest. If you ever visit the National Stadium in Beijing, you might think you've stumbled on a stadium on another planet. But if you visit the stadium, you'll actually be in Beijing at arguably the world's coolest looking stadium. The stadium was built for the 2008 Summer Olympics, and construction first began in 2003. As amazing as it looks, this stadium isn't really all that close to being the largest stadium in the world, as it only holds up to 80,000 people. Designed by the Swiss architect firm Herzog & de Meuron, the building's design implements elements inspired by Chinese ceramics. It was built in such a way that none of the steel beams supporting the retractable roof are visible, giving it the appearance of a bird's nest, hence the stadium's nickname. And make no mistake, they used plenty of steel to build this stadium. With more than 42,000 tons of steel, it's actually the largest steel structure in the world. And this steel is as resistant to thermal expansion as can be, which is the natural phenomenon that causes steel to expand as the temperature changes. By creating a new grade of steel, the bird's nest can withstand an 8.0 magnitude earthquake and also not be affected by temperature. It's estimated that this stadium can last at least 100 years, which is good, because Beijing is supposed to host the Olympics again in 2022. Except this time, it'll be the Winter Olympics. Number 8. MILLAU Viaduct. For the most part, bridges are utilitarian in nature. Would we really even build them if we didn't need them? However, we do need bridges, and sometimes we need really big bridges. Obviously, there's a reason why the MILLAU Viaduct was built. Now, to say this is a large bridge would be a gross understatement. This bridge is over 8,700 feet long, and it's 1,125 feet above the ground, which makes it the tallest bridge on the planet. First opened in 2004, this cable-style bridge spans along the gorge valley of the Tarn River in southern France. This amazing bridge was designed by architects Sir Norman Foster and Michel Verlejeux. It's widely considered to be one of the greatest architectural achievements of the modern era. In 2006, for instance, it was given the Outstanding Structure Award from the International Association for Bridge and Structural Engineering. Now that's a lot to fit on a plaque, but the achievement itself is nothing to sniff at. Number 7. Royal Ontario Museum. It might look like a massive piece of abstract art, but in fact, it's the Royal Ontario Museum. As one of the largest museums in North America, it features all kinds of art and history exhibits. Did I mention how cool it looks? The museum actually opened all the way back in 1914, and over time amassed one of the world's most impressive collections. However, the reason it made this video is because of the 2007 edition of The Crystal, which costs approximately $22 million. The Crystal edition is truly a modern phenomenon. Made of glass and aluminum, The Crystal is meant to be a link between the general public and the private museum, as it's now the main entrance to the museum. Despite the fact that some of the public was against this edition, what everyone could agree on is the fact that at least it looks interesting. Whether you love or hate the design, once you make it inside, you'll be greeted by exhibits across many different disciplines: art, archaeology, paleontology, fossils, world cultures, zoology, and so much more. Number 6. Shanghai Tower. Towering at 2,700 feet above the ground, the Shanghai Tower ranks as the third tallest building in the world. This impressive shrine of human ability features 127 floors above the ground, plus 5 more below ground. With its unique shape, this building looks futuristic, especially with it twisting in the air. To put it simply, this modern marvel is basically 9 cylinder-shaped buildings stacked on each other, connected by an inner glass facade. The really cool thing is that there's a vertical transportation system, which is essentially a series of really cool double-decker elevators that serve different places in the building. Atriums, gardens, retail space, restaurants, a concert hall, swimming pools, and offices make up the building. Let's not forget that the building has the best views in the city. The Shanghai Tower is also doing its part to help reduce its carbon footprint. Using green architecture elements, this building was designed to use less materials, which seems crazy because it's so tall. But in fact, it used 25% less material than other buildings around its height. The building will also receive about 10% of its electricity from wind turbines, and the glass facade allows the building to use less air conditioning than other buildings of a similar size. Number 5. Burj Khalifa. You can find the tallest building in the world in the gem of the United Arab Emirates, which is Dubai. Looking over the city at 2,717 feet, the Burj Khalifa holds the distinction of being the world's tallest building. Well, just for a bit longer anyways, until the Jeddah Tower is finished in Saudi Arabia by its projected date of 2020. Completed in 2010, the Burj Khalifa is where the old world meets the new. Combining elements of old world Islamic architecture and neo-futuristic aspects, the building pays homage to some of the great architectural wonders while embracing new advances in modern construction. The construction of the skyscraper was part of Dubai's downtown revitalization and an attempt to diversify their economy, which was traditionally rooted in oil and fishing. Much like the city as a whole, this building utilizes a concept known as mixed-use development, meaning it mixes residential and commercial space. Let's see, there's an 11-acre park surrounding the building, an observation deck where people can marvel at the modern wonder that's Dubai, and also the world-famous Dubai Fountain. It's even a popular destination for base jumpers, which isn't always strictly legal. Number 4. Three Gorges Dam. The Three Gorges Dam is a hydroelectric gravity dam. I think the words are pretty self-explanatory, but another description could be that it's super cool, really modern marvel of human architecture. Located in the Yiling district of China, this massive dam spans the Yangtze River. Without getting too scientific with you guys here, all you guys need to know is that it's the largest power station in the world. Not only does this dam provide an astonishing amount of electricity, it also helps reduce flooding in the area, and its use of large turbines helps reduce greenhouse emissions, which is an increasingly important aspect of any modern development. However, as is often the case with big, audacious development projects, there's often a side effect. In this case, the dam flooded important cultural and archaeological sites, such as the Shennan Gorge. The construction also displaced around 1.3 million people, who likely aren't sharing our fascination with the dam. Still, the Chinese government hopes the long-term effects will outweigh some of the negative impacts the dam has had in the region. Number 3. San Alfonso del Mar Resort. Found just west of Santiago, Chile, the San Alfonso del Mar Resort is home to the world's largest swimming pool. Spanning an absolutely ridiculous 3,323 feet, this pool holds more than 66 million gallons of water. The pool is so long, it's more than 20 acres. I mean, let's be for real, even Michael Phelps would have a hard time swimming laps in this thing. In fact, they need so much water just to keep the pool full, they pump it in from the Pacific Ocean, filter and treat it before letting visitors splash around in it. Just the filtration system itself costs more than $3.5 million. The pool is a work of the Chilean company called Crystal Lagoons and a real estate developer named Fernando Fishman, also known for designing artificial lagoons around the world. His breakthrough technologies allow huge bodies of artificial waters to be treated at low cost without using a bunch of chlorine, which is actually a huge plus swimming in this pool, in addition to its ridiculous size. Because water is pumped in from the ocean, it actually has the same transparency and turquoise color of the ocean. Better yet, it's usually several degrees warmer than the ocean. Add in a beach club, a spa, scuba diving, all kinds of food and drink, and you have an amazing experience on hand. Number 2. Palm Islands. If Dubai doesn't have something, they just build it. Need some islands? No problem, just make them. These artificially made islands sit off the coast of Dubai, and as their name would suggest, they take on the form of palm trees. Of the 3 islands, only one is complete. That's Palm Jumeirah. The other 2, Palm Jebel Ali and Deira Island, are still a work in progress. Each of these man-made, crazy-looking islands will host an array of luxury houses, entertainment centers, and private beaches. Of course, an island is generally a natural phenomenon that sometimes takes a long time to form, so in expediting that process without using any concrete, steel, or anything like that is truly impressive. Each of these islands is made completely from sand, limestone, and rock, per the orders of the Prince of Dubai. That's a massive amount of resources, and by that, I mean 5.5 million cubic meters of rock from 16 different quarries, 94 million cubic meters of sand extracted from deep sea beds, and an additional 210 million cubic meters of rock and limestone. Seriously? The downside of these islands is that it's caused massive amounts of erosion and has thoroughly disrupted the marine ecology around, as well as the shipping and fishing industries. The construction of the islands is so significant that it's changed wave patterns along the coast, which has actually changed the shape of the coast. However, the fact that these islands were able to be built is still quite amazing. Number 1. Floating Ecopolis. The floating Ecopolis is the brainchild of an ecological architect from Belgium named Vincent Caillebotte, with the aim of helping people who are displaced by climate change. The Earth has been through several cycles of warming and freezing, and another cycle will happen sooner or later. Even though these structures haven't actually been built, it's definitely an interesting solution if a lot of land gets covered in water. What Vincent is suggesting here is building a massive floating structure that can provide a home for people displaced. Also known as the lily pad, these proposed floating structures are still just that, a proposal. The proposed lily pads will be able to house up to 50,000 people and have the usual features such as mountains and marinas that surround a central lagoon that collects and purifies drinking water. By utilizing advanced methods of renewable energy, the lily pads will supposedly produce no carbon emissions while producing its own energy. Even better, it would be encased in a thick skin of titanium dioxide skin that could absorb air pollution. This all sounds great, but let's not actually get too excited just yet. These artificial floating cities aren't even close to actually being implemented, but just knowing that these things could theoretically exist is pretty cool. Here's what's next.
No details of the hotel's interior have been released. Its jagged exterior certainly imitates the sharp angles of the alpine peaks in which it is envisioned by Roscoe. He explained how he likes the connection between high peaks and mountain passes, so of course, he tried to design the same shape.